Coming up on KOTA Territory News at 5:30, we'll take a look at how Rapid City plans to expand and develop over the next 4 years. Plus, Senate Majority Leader John Thune taking to the Senate floor to show his support for a military funding bill. And Governor Larry Roden is back in South Dakota after a trip promoting trade in the United Kingdom. Your news starts right now.
From Skyline Drive, this is KOTA Territory News at 5:30.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Phil Aldrich. The 4 family members involved in that September 1st plane crash in the Bighorn National Forest have been identified. They're from Boise, Idaho. The Sheridan County Sheriff's Office releasing their names today. 13-year-old Amelia Palmer was killed in the crash. Earl Palmer, 54, and 53-year-old Cindy Palmer had serious injuries and are still being treated at a Billings, Montana hospital. 11-year-old Aaron Palmer was released from the Sheridan, Wyoming hospital. He is now with his family. The 1965 Piper PA-28, piloted by Earl Palmer, had taken off from the Sheridan County Airport heading to Boise. It crashed sometime before 5 p.m. Monday. The National Traffic Safety Board and Federal Aviation Administration investigated the crash site on Wednesday, September 3rd, with the assistance of the Sheridan County Sheriff's Office. The federal agencies continue to investigate the cause of that crash, and the NTSB will release those findings at a later date. Well, it was windy and smoky today in KOTA Territory, so when can we expect things to calm down a little bit? Chief Meteorologist David Stradling is here to let us know. Hey, David.
Yeah, I'm sure many of us are ready for the smoke to go away, the wind to calm down, and we're going to notice the smoky conditions weakening as we go throughout the night and into the morning hours tomorrow, but it will stay a bit breezy for tomorrow. We still have these wind alerts in place until 8 p.m. Wind advisories across all of western South Dakota and high wind warnings in north central South Dakota, just east of our viewing area. Also into Buffalo, northern Johnson County and Wyoming, a high wind warning there. Sustained wind speeds anywhere from 20 to 40 miles per hour across our region, a little lower in Custer at 13, but our wind gusts are up to 50 miles per hour still in Rapid City and over towards Buffalo, so still quite gusty outside. We take a look and those trees are whipping around on our Golden West weather camera at the Gunderson Palmer Law Firm. Smoke and haze will still continue and it will go away as we make our way throughout the night and into tomorrow. Cool temperatures like you see on our map currently, those are going to continue as we go into tomorrow and the weekend. We'll detail that coming up in just a little bit.
All right, look forward to that. Thanks, David. Governor Larry Roden is sharing details about his recent trade trip to the United Kingdom and Ireland to promote 2 key South Dakota industries. But as KOTA Territory's Blake Trolley reports, the governor was hoping to capitalize on new trade terms between the U.S. and the 2 countries. But that might already be in jeopardy because President Trump is calling for the Supreme Court to step in.
The governor's trip had an emphasis on promoting both beef and ethanol from South Dakota. Roden's delegation was made up of both government officials and trade reps.
Very encouraging trip. We spent the first 3.5 days in London talking to officials.
The U.S.-UK trade deal increases U.S. market access for both beef and ethanol, while the U.S.-EU trade deal includes a $750 billion commitment for the EU to purchase U.S. energy, including ethanol. Roden sees expanded trade opportunities with both products.
In England, I was talking to them about the fact that England's roughly the same landmass as South Dakota, yet our population is 1% of England. So all that to say we have a huge amount of ag land and very productive ag land and grasslands and very few mouths to feed. So we have a lot of food and fuel.
Roden told KOTA Territory News earlier this week that no new deals have been announced yet from the trip, which he says is normal this close to the trip concluding. Roden says timelines of results from trade trips vary.
I remember the first trade mission we went on to Mexico City. Almost immediately we started seeing some results, and I think as it stands there was something like 80 or 90 to 1 return on investment from that trip. Differing results in different areas in other areas, so it just remains to be seen what it looks like coming from England and Ireland.
The governor's trade trip lasted from the 16th to the 24th of last month, including travel. Onto the deals themselves, President Trump told reporters yesterday that the U.S. may have to unwind the deal with the EU and other countries if the Supreme Court rules against his use of tariffs. In Rapid City, Blake Trolley, KOTA Territory News.
Okay, thanks, Blake. The U.S. Senate has begun its consideration of the military funding bill that could lead to massive investments in the Ellsworth Air Force Base. Senate Majority Leader John Thune took to the Senate floor to show his support for the bill and included mention of the South Dakota investments wrapped up in it.
It strengthens the Air Force fleet, including authorizing funding for new fighter jets and the delivery of the B-21, the next generation long-range strategic bomber that will soon make its home at South Dakota's own Ellsworth Air Force Base.
The Senate version of the NDAA currently involves $3.4 billion for procurement of B-21 aircraft. It also includes $378 million to support B-21s at Ellsworth. Senator Thune also highlighted other investments in the bill, including spending on America's Marine Fleet, Golden Dome missile defense system, munition supply, and a nearly 4% pay raise to service members. The House will have its own military spending plan, and the two chambers will ultimately work together on a final plan to deliver to President Trump. Rapid City Police are searching for two people following last week's deadly shooting that claimed the life of a 29-year-old. Officers say 29-year-old Monty Gakin was killed on Wednesday night inside an East Watertown Street apartment. Police are looking for 23-year-old Max Martinez and 24-year-old Brittany Dillon. RCPD believes they have valuable information on this case. Investigators are asking anyone with information on where they might be to contact police using the methods on your screen. Now the latest on 30-year-old Nicholas Selig. He's the man accused of killing his father. He missed his first appearance in county court on Tuesday and was uncooperative during yesterday's hearing, physically resisting police officers. And now he's been scheduled to be back in court on Monday, September 29th. Selig is charged with first-degree murder in connection with the shooting death of his father, 57-year-old Vernon Selig. He's facing either the death penalty or life in prison if convicted on the murder charge. Vernon was found shot in the head in the area of Victoria Lake Road and First Thunder Road, along with Nicholas's abandoned Kia Soul. Selig was captured by police after a 48-hour manhunt. As the Rapid City area continues to grow, City Hall is making sure it's focusing on construction projects that'll help accommodate all of the extra traffic. KOTA Territory's Brian Savage breaks down the 2026 through 2029 Rapid City Area Transportation Improvement Program and improvements that are coming as part of the TIP.
Annually, the Rapid City Area Metropolitan Planning Organization is tasked with developing the Transportation Improvement Program. The TIP is a financial plan for your priority list of upgrades on transportation, including transit and highway projects.
Upcoming transportation projects that are regional in nature and will have a significant effect on the traveling public. So we compile a list of state projects, county projects, city projects, and put those all together in this document.
The program serves as a tool to give assistance to local and state agencies in matching demands in transportation with resources. The Rapid City Area MPO, the South Dakota Department of Transportation, other agencies work together to develop the TIP. The largest project included in the program is the Interstate 90 Exit 63 off of Box Elder construction.
That's a unique interchange because there's only traffic on and off in one direction each way, and that currently doesn't meet Federal Highway Administration standards. So that'll be about a 3-year construction project starting in the late 2020s.
Whenever bad weather conditions are present, as part of the TIP, Harrington says there will be new dynamic message boards along I-90 to give drivers more info when traveling.
One thing that we'll be looking at as well is the possibility of an adjustable speed limit in areas of bad weather along I-90 as well. So when road conditions deteriorate, then the speed limit can actually be lowered to help encourage people to drive slower.
The program also includes a 3-year construction project on Skyline Drive.
We are looking at doing some bicycle and pedestrian improvements up on Skyline Drive where it's feasible. It's pretty narrow up there, so some places we barely have enough room to get the roadway in, but we will make those improvements where we can.
In Rapid City, Brian Savage, KOTA Territory News.
Thank you, Brian. And Rapid City continues to have a busy summer, as Brian just reported, looking for new ways to accommodate the continued growth in the Rapid City area. Today, Mayor Solomon signed resolutions that adopted the project plans and project boundaries for both the Liberty Land and Sports Complex districts. Liberty Land will be a 300-acre property that will include an amusement park, themed RV resort, and an indoor water park. The Sports Complex will have 8 basketball courts and an indoor turf soccer field. Both facilities will be located on the north side of Rapid City. So with the documents officially signed for both projects, they can now begin construction.
The risk to the city is actually pretty low. We get some infrastructure improvements out of this. We get road improvements, water and sewer. those sorts of things. It's not just about building facilities, but it's about building the infrastructure that we needed to build anyways.
Mayor Solomon says Liberty Land and the sports complex is a game changer for Rapid City. He says if the projects end up thriving, the entire state would benefit because it would receive a large share of the sales tax revenue generated from the facilities. The developer for Liberty Land says if he had his way, the project would break ground by the end of the year. As for the sports complex, when it will begin construction is still to be determined. Well, we're just getting started on KOTA Territory News at 5:30. The winds were relentless today. So is that smoke moving away or is it bringing more smoke into the area? We'll let you know coming up later in your accurate First Alert forecast. But first, we'll introduce you to an area nonprofit working to help veterans cope with their PTSD. That's the topic of this week's KOTA Cares after the break. For veterans battling PTSD, a loyal companion can make all the difference, and one nonprofit is stepping in to help our veterans. KOTA Territory's Jasmine Davis has tonight's KOTA Cares.
Guardian Shepherd Service Dogs launched in spring of 2025 to support disabled veterans by providing fully trained German Shepherds. These dogs are prepared to meet veteran needs, helping them in everyday life with precision and care. Veterans living with PTSD, even getting a service dog can be a challenge. Andrew Gardner, the founder of the organization and a veteran who served in the 10th Mountain Division and 4th Infantry Division, explains how his organization eases that burden.
My battle with PTSD led me to getting a service dog from a owner-trained program, which was extremely stressful. When you get a dog from us, we take that stress away. You get a fully trained service dog, so you focus on the healing portion rather than the training.
Partnering with a trained PTSD service dog can ease symptoms like anxiety, depression, helping veterans find stability and relief. That impact, Robin Mendel, Guardian Shepherd Service Dog Secretary, says is being felt throughout the veteran community.
Impacts all of us in wanting us to help. And we've seen that throughout the whole veteran community, locally and statewide, that they are in need of help, and this is what they seem to need the most.
By pairing veterans with trained service dogs, Guardian Shepherds helps improve veterans' quality of life and support them in winning the war at home. In Box Elder, Jasmine Davis, KOTA Territory News.
Chief Meteorologist David Stradling is tracking fall-like temperatures before the warmer air returns. We have the details coming up next in your accurate First Alert forecast.
Now, the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist David Stradling.
Well, to no surprise, if you've been outside, wind advisories are in place across western South Dakota. We've had multiple wind gusts in the 50 to 60 mile per hour range, and up near the Ralph area in northwest South Dakota, a few gusts exceeded 60 miles per hour. Wind advisories continue until 8 p.m. A high wind warning for Buffalo there in northern Johnson County. Also high wind warnings through North Dakota and north central South Dakota. Wind gusts right now range anywhere from 20 to 40 miles per hour. Sustained speeds, I should say. The wind gusts on the next graphic here are still anywhere from 40 to 50 miles per hour through western South Dakota and over towards Buffalo, up to 40 miles per hour through northeast Wyoming. Now, those are down from our peak wind gusts over the past 24 hours, almost at 60 mile per hour wind gusts. In Buffalo, the Rapid City Airport, 56 miles per hour, along with Buffalo in Wyoming, 40 mile per hour wind gusts towards Gillette. 45 there, 54 into Faith. So it's been pretty blustery throughout the day today. And as we look outside, it's been pretty hazy through much of the day, but things are slowly improving this evening as we get that near surface smoke out of the area. Air quality currently are still rated at moderate for many of us, but off towards central Wyoming, it's unhealthy for sensitive groups. Air quality alerts continue until noon on Friday through all of northeast Wyoming and much of the entire Wyoming state there. Sheridan, Gillette, Sundance, Newcastle, all of those locations with air quality alerts through midday tomorrow. Our temperatures currently are in the 60s. A few spots newer in the 70s like Rapid City out towards the airport into the Wasta area in southwest South Dakota, but it's 56 in Lead right now. We'll be down to 45 in downtown Rapid City overnight tonight. Could have some upper 30s into Custer, Newcastle, and Sheridan, so maybe some frost develops in some of the higher terrain of the Black Hills and over towards Sheridan there. But as we make our way throughout the day tomorrow, it's not going to warm up a lot. 66 degrees. It's going to feel very fall-like. kind of crisp outside. Sunny skies, cool day, a bit breezy as wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour are possible. Now Friday night into Saturday morning, widespread upper 30s, mid to upper 30s are expected across Wyoming, from southeastern Montana across the South Dakota plains and into the Black Hills. But Rapid City, Spearfish, those along the foothills here should stay near 40, so not a huge frost concern for Rapid City up to Spearfish, but the South Dakota plains and into northeast Wyoming, you will want to take action on some of the sensitive vegetation you may have around the house. Near 70 on Saturday, flirting with 80 by Sunday, a lot of sunshine on tap. Overnight tonight, many of us are in the 40s, but there are some 30s from Sheridan to Hill City, Newcastle, Sundance, and Custer. Highs tomorrow will be in the 50s in the Black Hills, 60s for many others, with a 70 towards Hot Springs and over into Sheridan. Breezy for western South Dakota. Wind shouldn't be too bad in northeast Wyoming. Northeast Wyoming, you're going to be noticing temperatures increasing each day, 70s and 80s by Sunday. Into the Black Hills, we'll all be seeing some 70s to start to go to the end of the weekend. 68 towards Custer may just come shy of that 70-degree mark. And on the South Dakota plains, we'll likely see plenty of 70s on tap as we make our way towards the end of the weekend. For Rapid City, we'll be flirting with 80 by Sunday and will likely climb up into the 80s through much of next week. Isolated showers and thunderstorms will be possible nearly every single day. Phil?
Thank you, David. Straight ahead in sports, several area high school tennis teams are on the court this afternoon. And the South Dakota Mines football team, they're getting ready to tee it up for their home opener. We'll have a preview next, Dakota Sports.
And now, KOTA Territory Sports, sponsored by your local Ford stores.
Good evening and welcome to KOTA Sports. There's a lot of sports going on today, including some high school tennis, and how could we forget about the South Dakota Mines football home opener? The South Dakota Mines football team has their home opener tonight at 6 against RV Michigan Tech. The Hard Rockers are coming off a loss in their game last week against CSU Pueblo, where they were shut out 43-0. The Hard Rockers' last matchup with Michigan Tech was a shootout where the Hard Rockers scored 50 points. And they still lost. The game needed multiple overtimes, but the Hard Rockers indeed ended up losing that game 52-50. Hard Rockers game tonight. You do not want to miss it. Head on down to O'Hara Stadium or tune in later tonight at 9 and 10 for the highlights. The St. Thomas More Cavaliers are taking on the RC Central Cobblers in tennis this afternoon. The match is taking place at the Parkview Tennis Courts. Both of these teams are looking for their first win of the season, but the Cavaliers and Cobblers aren't the only tennis match going on in town. Over at Sioux Park Tennis Courts, the Rapid City Christian Comets are taking on the Rapid City Stevens Raiders today. The Raiders haven't lost a match all year long, and even when they compete in the tournaments, they win those tournaments. And some of the Lady Raiders are getting back from attending the U.S. Open earlier this week. Should be a good matchup today for the Lady Raiders. And the Black Hills State Yellow Jackets start their season tonight in volleyball in Chadron. A part of the Eagle Classic, they are taking on the Augustana tonight, and they start at 5 p.m., so they are in the middle of their first set as we speak. But here is first-year head coach talking about what he expects from his team this season.
I think we've spent a lot of time talking about, at the end of the day, when the whistle blows, you're either a volleyball player or you're not. I had a coaching colleague tell me that once, and I've really taken that to heart, right? So we want to be really good at volleyball. So Emily knows how to set. She's not a setter, but she knows how to set. Carson knows how to pass. She's not typically a passer, but she knows how to do that kind of stuff. And so I think for me, that was one of the big things I wanted to do when I got here, right? We need to just be better at volleyball.
One more thing with sports. Sturgis Soccer is playing tonight up at 5 at Woodle Field. And guys, that's a look at sports. We'll be right back.
David has one final check of the forecast.
Yeah, it's a bit windy outside, and it's been that way for much of the day, especially across western South Dakota, where wind advisories are in place. We do have a high wind warning for those in Buffalo, just south of Sheridan, and also to north central South Dakota outside of KOTA territory. These go until 8 p.m. Over the next 7 days, temperatures will feel fall-like Friday and Saturday in the 60s. A bit breezy on Sunday, but warmer at 78. 80s are likely next week, but that'll come with a little bit more cloud cover and also the chance of a stray or isolated shower or thunderstorm each day.
Like those cooler temperatures.
Gonna feel good.
All right, thank you, David. That's gonna do it for us at 5:30. We'll see you right back here tonight for KOTA Territory News at 10.
Thanks for watching KOTA Territory News, your local news and weather authority.